So hello guys, welcome to Zypher. And today in this video we are going to see how to install Windows on your Raspberry Pi. Windows is not officially, but it's kind of officially available for IoTs. But the problem is, according to Microsoft, the official tool for installing Windows only supports Raspberry 2 and Raspberry 3. So if you're having a Raspberry 4 like me, then you may have wondering how to install Windows on this. First of all, why do you need Windows on a device like this? Well, for me, I'm just going to do a live streaming server with this. So I found that Linux drivers are incompatible with OBS Studio. So I'm just going to try out with Windows. So that's the main reason why I'm installing Windows on this Raspberry Pi. So now, without any further ado, let's get started. This video is sponsored by Scradle Lofi. What is Scradle Lofi? You may heard my app Scradle. This is the next generation of Scradle. So Scradle Lofi is nothing but, you may heard of Lofi beats, right? Even it's just like a very soothing and a very soft beats which helps you to relax and also concentrate to study. It helps you in many more ways, so that you may have seen it on YouTube, that so many YouTubers are doing live streams for streaming Lofi, and even we did a live stream. We did almost 3 to 4 live streams because just for streaming Lofi beats. And now this app just provides you a 24/7 radio to for Lofi beats. You can hear Lofi beats completely for free without even any ads and in a high quality. And also it is available for pre-registering on Google Play Store. You can register it, and very soon it will be coming to market. So first of all, let's see what you need. So first of all, as usual, you'll be needing this Raspberry Pi. It can be any model, like 2, 3, 4, any model like 2 gigahertz, 4 gigahertz, 8 gigahertz. You can just get anything. Okay, just have a Raspberry Pi, and then you'll be needing this SD card for installing the OS, and also you'll be needing an external drive like USB drive or an external SSD. So it's your choice. You can choose any of them. So now, without any further ado, let's go ahead and install Windows. I'm inside my computer. Inside my Linux computer here. So what I'm going to do here is, as usual, you'll be needing Raspberry Pi imager. You can get that by just going to your browser, type Raspberry Pi imager, and download this. So you can see that you'll be needing this. You have to download this according to your OS. If you're on Windows, you can download for Windows, and I'm in Ubuntu, but I already downloaded it. So now what I'm going to do here is, let's open Imager. There we go, we have our Imager here. And now one extra thing you'll be needing is an SD card reader. Wait a minute. There we go, we have this. So this is an SD card reader. You'll be needing this for installing the OS. Well, here is the main thing that I'm about to do. So if you're planning to install Windows on an external drive like an SSD like this, then you can just go ahead and install this using install the OS using this SD card. So what's my plan is, first of all, you'll be needing a drive which runs Raspberry Pi OS. If you're planning to install it on an SSD or a USB drive, you can go ahead and install this on your SD card. But if you're willing to install it on your SD card, if you're willing to run your Windows 10 or Windows 11 on your SD card, then you'll be requiring to install Raspberry Pi OS on a USB drive. That's what I recommend, because you cannot just go ahead and keep your Raspberry Pi plugged into an USB drive forever. So I'm just going ahead and installing Raspberry Pi OS on this E drive. So let's go ahead. plugged in. So now let's go ahead and choose our OS. So the OS can be 32-bit Raspberry Pi OS, or else you can choose 64-bit. It's according to you. So I'm just going ahead and selecting Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit, and then the storage. I'll just click on the pin drive that I plugged in. Go to the settings and just go ahead and enter all your credentials. Yep, and yeah, everything is good. Skip the first run because you have to check that. Go ahead and save it and write yes. Type your password. Okay, so now let's wait for it to write the OS. So I plugged out this USB drive, so let's plug it in back to Raspberry Pi. So I'm plugging it in just like that. Yep, there we go. And now let's just put the power cable. Yeah, they have the power cable. Let's plug it in. Yep, and now finally our HDMI cable, which is the micro HDMI for Raspberry Pi. Let's go ahead and plug this in. Yep, so we have plugged in all our required wires and drive. So now let's go ahead and switch it back on, but make sure you should not use this micro SD card now. This has to be used while you install Windows 10 or Windows 11 on it. So let's go ahead and see if this guy boots up. So guys, now as you can see, we are going to connect our Raspberry Pi with our computer using SSH. So let's do that by going to our browser. We need to know the IP address of your Raspberry Pi for connecting it. So let's type that. So first let's go to our advanced panel of your router. In my case it's this. Go ahead and log in it. Okay, let's log in. So as you can see, we can see this parental control tab right here. Click on that, and here we can see our Raspberry Pi's IP address shown right here. Go ahead and let's just go ahead and copy that. Okay, but I know the IP address. So now let's go ahead and open terminal. So let's go ahead and type this. So SSH Pi at 192.168.0, and now let's connect it. Now this should work. Oh, okay. As you can see, the keygen is something which is we have to remove this. So type SSH type keygen and alpha R. Now type your IP address 192.168.0.3. Hit enter, and now let's clear this. Let's just connect using SSH. Yes, my password. Oh, type username which we entered. Okay, there we go, we have logged in. So as you can see, the default Pi user is not working, but the user that we added while flashing the OS to our USB drive, it's working. It's the password. So now let's proceed with our installation. Let's clear this. So now you will be needing to access to our Vnc, so that we don't need to access anything from our command line. So it's connected to Vnc. For Vnc, you need to go ahead and type sudo apt install Vnc. Okay, so Vnc, type Vnc Server, hit enter and enter. So now Vnc Server should be installed. So what is Vnc Server? It is used to, it's like a bridge between your computer and your Raspberry Pi. So you need to wait. So let's wait. Meanwhile, you'll be needing a VNC client. In my case, I have Ubuntu system installed, so I defaultly have Yamina, but I usually use VNC viewer, which is this one. So I already have some machines right here. We'll be doing that later, but let's wait for this to complete. As you can see, we have completed this. So now let's just allocate a Vnc server for this. So at this point you need to type Vnc server and space and a colon, and at this point you need to specify a port for your Vnc server. So I'm entering 1, hit enter. Now let's enter the password. Okay, so password's too short. Let's try it again. The password will be enter your password. It should be at least about 6 digits longer. No, hit enter. Yeah, there we go. So we can see that our Raspberry Pi has a VNC server allocated in the port of 1. So now let's go ahead and connect it. So I'll enter my my port's name, and once you type your IP address, you need to specify the port, which is 1, hit enter, click on continue, and you need to enter the password which you entered while setting up the VNC server. Enter, and there we have it. So we can see that we can access our Raspberry Pi OS through our VNC. So let's go ahead and keep it in full screen mode. Okay, now this is fine. Okay, so at this point let's go ahead and proceed with the installation. So now okay, so now let's proceed with the installation. So first of all, let's open our browser. By default, Raspberry has Chromium. Let's open that. Okay, there we go. We have Chromium opened. Go ahead and type Windows on Raspberry. Hit enter. And here you can see this home right here, Windows on Raspberry. Click on that, and once you click on the link, you'll be getting to this screen, Windows on Raspberry. So now you have to just go to get started, and once you click on that, I have a machine that runs Linux or other OS. Click on that. So now once you click on that, you have to scroll down to this GitHub repository link. Click on that, and here you will be seeing this Windows on Raspberry Flasher. So I'll give the link in the description box for this. So we are going to use our Raspbian OS to flash our Windows to our microSD card. So this is why I told you don't use this card now. So now what we're going to do here is just scroll and copy this git clone code and open terminal. Okay, I'll just open this. Okay, there we have our terminal open right here. So now go ahead and paste our git clone of this repository and hit enter. Oh, what? Okay, now it's just cloning the repository. Now you need to paste the second code. Oh, there's the code. This is the second code, at least for now. Hit enter. Okay, finally we are working. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is just going to open a GUI. We need to wait, so let's wait. So everyone, as you can see, we have the GUI opened. Welcome to Windows on Raspberry. So now at this point, you need to select your Windows version. So I'm just selecting Windows 10 because I already have Windows 11 computer at my home. But I found that for live streaming, Windows 11 is, so I'm just going on with Windows 10. And on a Raspberry Pi, I'm just selecting the default Raspberry Pi 4 or 400. So because I have a Raspberry Pi 4, if you're having lesser than that, I don't mind. Now go ahead and click on next. Now you may think that, okay, I think the app just crashed. No, it's not crashed. Here we go. As I said before, the app is not crashed. Now go ahead and select our language and hit next. And now you can see that we need to enter a device. So now let's go ahead and plug it in. There we go. We need to plug this guy in Raspberry Pi's default SD card slot. Okay. Cancel. Refresh. There we go. We have it. We have our SD card slot just filled up with our Raspberry Pi's SD card slot. Go ahead and check this guy and hit next. And at this point, you can see that this is the installation overview. We need to go ahead and read that. Okay, but make sure that you need to make sure that there's no important files stored inside the drives which you're using, because almost it just formats the entire drive. So I warn you. So go ahead and click flash. And now you need to go for a very long break because this guy takes forever. So I'll meet you once it's done. So everyone, it has been almost more than an hour and my PC is running so hardly. So as you can see here, we have this screen. Click close, and now at this point let's just close our VNC. Yes, and we'll just go ahead and switch my computer off. There we go, power off. And now at this point, what we should do here is we have to just go to our Raspberry Pi, and at this point we have to remove our Raspberry Pi OS drive from here, and you have to keep only the drive where you install Windows. So yeah, there we go. And now make sure that you have your HDMI cable plugged in because that's so important. And now let's go ahead and let's just unplug our PC's HDMI and plug in our Raspberry's HDMI to here. Yep. Now at this point we can see that we have our screen. Let's unplug our adapters for keyboard and mouse. Here we go. Let's plug our keyboard and mouse to our Raspberry Pi. Okay, and at this point what we're going to do here is switch our Raspberry Pi off. Okay, we have switched our Raspberry Pi off, and now at this point you should just switch it back on, but make sure that you have removed our Raspberry Pi OS drive. Now let's just switch it on, and at this point you'll be seeing Raspberry booting into Windows. So let's see whether it boots or not. Okay, there we go. There we go. We have our boot screen, which looks very different from a normal Raspberry's boot screen, as you can see here. Now as you can see, it just freezes at this point. Well, it's not freezing actually, it's just actually booting. So we have to wait, we have to give it some time for it to get booted. So yeah, let's just give it some time to boot. So finally, it has been stuck on the screen for almost 15 minutes, and finally you can see that it has booted and it's loading the pre-installation setup. So from here you're going to install it on the disk. actually this is just an installer, and there we go. We have our Raspberry Windows on Raspberry pre-installation environment. There we can see it. So now at this point, select your required build and click on install. So now this will install the OS, so we need to wait. It's preparing the disk, and at this point this is where it gets so intense. You should not disturb this guy. If you disturbed it, then your entire installation is messed up. So please don't disturb it, and I'll meet you guys when it completes the installation. So guys, as you can see, the installation is completed, and now Windows is booting, and this may take a while because it's the first boot, so let's wait. So everyone, we are finally here. We have Windows 10 installed on our Raspberry Pi. So cool, isn't it? Sorry for the bad camera quality, just it's a bit foggy here. You can see this. I cannot believe this. Look at that. Look at how smooth it is. We are running Windows on Raspberry. Let's proceed with setting up our keyboard layout. It's a bit laggy, but I hope that this works good once it's set it up. So I'll meet you guys after I set up Windows 10. So guys, yeah, it's working. So look at that. We have successfully installed Windows 10. We have Windows 10. Look at that. Look at that. Windows 10 running on your Raspberry Pi. So cool, isn't it? Like, type WinRAR, and if I run it, there we go. Windows 10. And let me just go ahead and check our system information. And inside that we can see this here, system manufacturer Raspberry Pi Foundation, system model Raspberry Pi 4 model B, system type ARM64 based PC, and look at the GitHub page. And yeah, everything's good. Like, this guy can run .exe files. Now we can go ahead and we can use Windows 10 here. So I hope you learned something new in this video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also share this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.